Hi everyone. Today I wanted to chat to you about my my book info pack. Someone asked me how I keep all the information together for the book that I'm writing, and because I like to be organized, I have it all in a little pack. I do use Scrivener sometimes, if I want to keep the stuff online just so I can copy and paste and that, I do put it there. But I also have printed it along with like photos of the area that I've written the book in, and then also all the information on the weather and the area that it's in. So I thought I'd just share the book with you because I'm also doing a blog post which will go up just after this video because I'd like to put the video in the blog post as well. My blog link will be in the description block below, so you can just go and click on that and it will take you to my blog if you want to go and read it. So today, like I said, I'm just going to show you for Iridescent, which is the first book in my Serendipity series. So it's book number 1. This is my book info pack. Hopefully you can see it because I don't have the screen. I can't see the screen because otherwise it turns everything around for you. And as you can see, I've done ring binders and I've done like a little booklet with the see-through stuff. So the first thing that I've got is places and info in the story. So this is almost like a miscellaneous section. This is where I write down the actual places in the names of the places in the story, like the bed and breakfasts that she might be going to or that they might be going to, what the realtor's name is, like the little people that are not in it all the time, the characters and stuff, and also names of different places that she might go to that is not like the pizza place or the coffee shop where she was working, and the inn that she stayed in Scotland. So you'll see some of it is typed out and then some of it I add as I go along because that changes. I'm not going to show you too much because otherwise it will spoil the fun for you. And then what I also do is I just added extra lined paper. You'll see there's a few pages just in case I needed to in case I run out on the first page. And I'm also not someone that really likes to write on this side of the page if I can avoid it. I know it wastes paper, but I like to write on this side. I know I'm full of nonsense, but that's just how I am. The next one is character sketches. Okay. So you'll see each one I've got the different people, like I've got Sky, which is her character sketch, which means like what her occupation is, her physical description, what her beliefs are at the beginning of the story and what they are at the end of the story, her most extraordinary traits and abilities, major deficiencies, her mode of speech. So does she have an accent? Does she have an extensive vocabulary? Unusual mannerisms, and what things she likes to do most and the things that she dislikes the most, and what are her favorite things. And then also like her hopes and dreams, the past experiences that have most deeply influenced her, those things that are most lacking in her life, and what makes her laugh and what makes her cry, her greatest fear, her family background, and her mode of dress. That one is quite a big section, as you can see. It's a lot of writing. Her mood swings, and then her love interest, which, as I've said before, the love interest only happens towards the end of the book. So, yeah, spoiler alert. Anyway, so this is Rain, which is her best friend. Also, all basically the same sort of things, just not as much information. And Indy. And Cole, Bruno. Bruno's not one of the main 4 characters, but he is one that I had to put some of the information in because he's got a little bit more qualities that I bring forward in the book than what the other characters, like her ex or the realtor, or you know, like the people that just come in and go out. Bruno's a little bit more there, so I had to put more information about him. Okay, then character photos as ideas. So please don't copyright me, because this is just like who I try and explain, or describe, should I say, who I try and describe when I see the characters in front of me. So obviously for Cole, I've got Robert Pattinson, and for Indy, Ian Somerhalder. So very good looking guys. Okay, then the house photos, which I put in for ideas as well, which I try and describe some of them. They're not all exactly the same. I've taken some elements from different things. So this is the house photo. Sorry, the ink was running out. And then I've got lounge 1 and 2. Bedroom 1 and 2. And bedroom 3 and the bay window number 1. And bathroom 2, and then the kitchen. Kitchen is like that way. Okay. And then the bay window 2 and the bathroom 1. Okay, and then descriptions of the location of book. So I've got a lot on the Isle of Skye, about, you know, all information about it, the transport that you find there, how do you get there, which highway would you use, what is the weather like, what is the coastline like, because she goes hiking sometimes and also goes out picnicking with her friends and stuff, then you need the fauna and flora in it as well of the area. So sometimes I use that in there as well. Also what the climate is, the atmosphere, also the history of the place, which is, and things that you can do on the Isle of Skye, what the landscape looks like, and then just a little bit about it, and the different areas like Dunvegan, Portree, Broadfoot, all beautiful places there. Like I said, transport, and also I just mentioned like where they're living and how far it is from Scotland Central if they had to drive, and you know which highway they would need to use, or road. I think they call it a highway. And yeah, so that's quite a bit of information. That's all that you do, all of that before you write the book. You have to do all your investigations and your research, so that when you write you don't you stay true to the place, because obviously if someone is reading it that actually lives on the Isle of Skye, and they're going to say, well, that's a lot of hogwash because that's not what we've got over here, or that's not what the weather is like. I also had to research like what time does the sun, you know, what time does the sun go up in the morning, and what time does it set in the afternoons, in summer and in winter, because she's there obviously both of those times. And it's actually fascinating to know that it goes up very late in the morning in winter, and it goes down very early, something like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, well, according to Google. So that's very interesting. When I did my research, because I love Scotland, I love it, and when I did my research on the Isle of Skye, I just fell in love with it even more. So now I just want to go live there. Okay, descriptions of actions and places. So this is just like extra information that I put in to remind myself, like I wrote, don't waffle, because sometimes when you read a book, they put too much information in, eventually you like yawn, you know, you just want to go to sleep. So I had to, well, now when I'm doing my edits, I have to make sure that I take out any of that waffle. Like, you don't want to put in extra information that's not necessary, you know, it doesn't need to be there. Also, like the plot, you know, that's information that I put in, describing facial expressions, describing the scenery, describing an action. These are all things that just come to me like when I'm out there, and then what I did was I put them into a little section so that I could use it later on. Also, how to describe emotions, you know, certain wording that I picked up somewhere that of how to describe an emotion, and also describing features, and then extra notes, which I've also got. If anyone wants to know what the font is of these things, by the way, it is, I'm sure you'll probably recognize it, it's Alice in Wonderland. So, I love that font. Yeah, so extra notes is just where I was sitting in a coffee shop and I wrote down stuff that just came to me, like pieces of the story that came to me. And I just wrote it separately, and then what I do is I take from it if I want to, and if it happens to fit into the book when I'm actually writing. Because, you know, like if you're writing, it doesn't always all fit in that you've put together, but you can always keep it for further use in maybe a different book even, you know. Writers can always use those type of things later on. It just helps also to keep your writing up to date if you're writing wherever you are. And usually when I'm sitting in a coffee shop writing, I don't have anyone with me, so I'm not being rude to anyone. But yeah, so it's just like, let's see how I put different pieces in. Sorry, I'll just hold this so it doesn't fall. Different pieces in, like where she has writer's block, where they went camping, she'll see. I had this section about a bird in the coffee shop. That one didn't make it to the book. Yeah. I don't know how I was feeling at that point to write this. Sometimes you read back on things and you're like, what was I thinking? But anyway, okay, so title page, dedication, about author, and copyright pages. So this is just to help with all the little necessary pages that go into a book. You need to get them ready and write it up. There's a template there, and for the title, or for the dedication, sorry. And then also, obviously, I just put in extra pages for this because I'm going to need pages to write those things, because I haven't done those yet. Still busy editing and getting proofreading and that. Okay, and then yeah, that's the end of it. So that is my book info pack. I hope it helps writers out there, because I know, like, when I first started writing, I was a little bit lost on how to do this. I read up that you need to have a writing journal, which I do have. I've got it in my bag, which I carry around with me. That's why my handbag is so heavy, because I don't just have a writing journal for books, I've also got a writing journal for music. So yeah, I'm carrying myself stupid with books. So they told me to have a writing journal and all the things that you put into a writing journal. Like if you're sitting and you want to describe the way someone is sitting and talking or having a conversation, it helps you to later on, when you're writing and you're sitting at home in front of your computer, it helps you to remember that if you want to be able to put it into a book. And also if you hear words or phrases or some way that someone is doing something, so you know, you write those things down. And I did all of that, and then when I started with the book, I had all this information, and the problem was I kept on going from where I'm typing to a folder on my computer, typing folder the whole time, and I was like, this is very irritating, to have to go and look now, I have to see, you know, what color is Indy's eyes, or Cole's eyes, or what is he wearing, or whatever, and then I have to go back and forth the whole time, and it just started irritating the living daylights out of me. So I decided to print everything and put it into a book. So now this stands next to me, this sits next to me, this sits next to me while I'm typing, and write, while I'm doing the book, and if I need to do something, it's right next to me, so I don't have to go back and forth the whole time. And if I need to make notes, I at least have place to make them, and I don't have little pieces of paper lying everywhere, because that is like the death of a writer is all the pieces of paper that you have lying everywhere. So I hope that this video helped you, and if it did and you liked the video, can you please give it a thumbs up? And if you haven't subscribed already, I would really appreciate it if you would do that. And if you click the bell notification, you will be informed whenever I upload a video again. All my social media, as I said earlier, is in the description block below, and my blog, which you can go and look there as well. And I hope that you have a lovely day further. Enjoy your moments. Goodbye.